Hi everybody. Okay, I want to show you a listening exercise from the advanced. Okay, in the exam there are 4 parts for the listening, but today I just want to show you part 1, and I will show you the screen with my material. So there is one website that is very good in my opinion. It's actually the best that I have seen. It's the best that I have found, and it's on YouTube, and this is the name of the YouTube channel. Listening English. So there are 41,000 subscribers, but they have material for the PET, the B1. They have material for the B2, for the first certificate. They have material for the A2, the KET, and they have material for the C1, for the advanced. Okay. So I will want to click on this video today just for the C1 part 1. So we click in here. We probably have an advertisement first. So let's wait until the advertisement is over and we can skip or saltar, jump. Okay, so here is part 1, and hopefully you can hear it with the audio. I'm going to play here with the audio so you can hear this, the audio from the computer. So the text is very small. So I will give you 1 moment to capture the text. Okay, so I'll make the screen bigger, and you can see the document hopefully now. Okay, so you can see the vocabulary, and if you want to take a picture on your phone to screenshot the material, go ahead. So very difficult vocabulary, and I have taken a picture as well. I will show you the material. Okay, so we'll escape that, exit, yeah, exit full screen. Okay, and I'll make my picture a bit bigger. So that is part 1. There are 3 extracts: extract 1, extract 2, extract 3. Okay, and sorry, I'll go back to the start. I hope you didn't hear the voices.
Yes,
sorry. So we go back here, and yeah, that's part 1. On the bottom right, I have my screen for the text. All right, so I can make my notes here. And on the left, I have word reference also for material for translation. Okay, so let's look at the questions quickly first. And I have them here on the screen. So I'm going to zoom in just to help you a little. It's very difficult, but the key words in my opinion are retail management. So you hear part of an interview with a woman who works in retail management. How does the woman feel about how her first job, how does she feel now about her first job in retailing? Pleased is like feliz, like happy, content, by the way she handled the staff. Staff are like the workers, and handle is like manage or control or tratar, treat or deal. Okay, confident that it gave her a good start, relaxed about the mistake she made. Or 2, what is the woman advised to do next? Reflect on, that's the preposition, reflect on your decision, reflect on her skills or her talents, her abilities. Volunteer for extra work. Discuss her situation with her boss. And in English, discuss is just like charlar, to chat or to have a conversation. In Espanol, discutir is more aggressive and más fuerte, I think. But in English, it's just conversation. Okay. Extract 2, you overhear. So that's very important vocabulary. A woman telling a friend a story about a swan. Okay, and the vocabulary for a swan specifically is the bird, and in Espanol is the cisne. Okay, so let me go back to the screen with the vocabulary. Overhear is you hear, but it was not your intention to hear. So the person is very loud and you hear the conversation by accident. It was not your intention. Okay, over is very important. To overeat, to oversleep, it's excessive, and then to overhear. So there are very important vocabularies with the prefix to over. Okay, it's possible as well to overindulge. It's excessive, overindulge. Okay, so the option for 3, what problem did the woman have with the swan? She misunderstood its intentions. She underestimated, very important vocabulary, estimar, pero bajo, underestimated the speed of its approach. So the verb to approach is like the distance before. So if you approach a person, it's your movement before the person. Okay, approach a situation, approach a problem. She failed, fallar, to realize darse cuenta. So she failed to realize the consequences of disturbing it. Number 4, what is the man's reaction to the story? He feels he would have handled or managed the situation better. Similar synonym for manage in number 1. He is unconvinced, so negative, unconvinced by the woman's version of events, a good expression, her version of what happened. And he fails to see, fallar, he fails to see quite how serious the problem was. Okay, and the final extract. You hear part of an interview with Bruce Loader, a successful businessman who is talking about his early life. Why did Bruce decide to give up rendirse, to give up the idea of studying art? He failed to gain a place, gain a place, that's the expression, at art college. He became tired of doing representational art. He was persuaded, very good vocabulary, persuaded that he could not realize his ambition. That's the typical combination as well, to realize your ambition. Number 6, what was his father's reaction to Bruce's decision? He was anxious to discuss alternative employment options. He was angry that a good opportunity had been wasted, and he was dismissive of the advantages of higher education. Okay, so they are the questions, they are the key vocabulary. And if we go back to the video, so you can see it's the same here. This is part 1, and I will let you play the document so you can hear everything perfect. Okay, so let's go. 1 and 2. And I'll just hide this as well.
So, Fiona, can you tell me about how you started in fashion retailing?
Yes, of course. After I finished
Now you'll hear the recording again. So, Fiona, can you tell me about how you started in fashion retailing?
Yes, of course. After I finished university, I took a job with a big high street chain. I was an assistant manager. Every week you would see the sales figures for your product and then act on that by placing repeat orders or putting a new style in. It was a good grounding. However, most of the staff had been there years, and I think I did make mistakes in my dealings with them. I blush now to think of my time there. I then moved on, after 5 years, to my present job.
And now you're thinking of moving up the ladder. How do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
I would eventually like to be in senior management.
Well, before you rush off to see your line manager, I think you need to work out skills you can offer, emphasizing your selling points, showing them what you can do. Also, have you been going the extra mile to get things done, or doing more than what is asked of you recently? Extract 2. You overhear a woman telling a friend a story about a swan. Now look at questions 3 and 4. So what happened last weekend?
Well, we were taking our boat along the river when we passed a pair of swans with a nest nearby. One swan just carried on feeding, but the other one, male I think, decided to come and investigate.
Oh, fantastic. I've never seen a swan's nest close up. I expect he was hungry.
Well, actually, it was immediately obvious from his body language that he had other things on his mind. He was flapping his wings really hard and approaching at incredible speed. I guess we'd gone too close to the nest. I'd never have done that if I'd known what would happen.
Gosh, amazing. I've never heard of swans behaving like that before. So what did you do? Row like mad?
Well, we got out onto the bank, but he followed us up and then stood between us and the boat for about an hour. We just couldn't frighten him away.
No, I suppose not. Still, I'm sure he wouldn't have hurt you.
Are you kidding? You should have seen the way he moved. Swans can be really aggressive at nesting times.
Now you'll hear the recording again. So what happened last weekend?
Well, we were taking our boat along the river when we passed a pair of swans with a nest nearby. One swan just carried on feeding, but the other one, male I think, decided to come and investigate.
Oh, fantastic. I've never seen a swan's nest close up. I expect he was hungry.
Well, actually, it was immediately obvious from his body language that he had other things on his mind. He was flapping his wings really hard and approaching at incredible speed. I guess we'd gone too close to the nest. I'd never have done that if I'd known what would happen.
Gosh, amazing. I've never heard of swans behaving like that before. So what did you do? Row like mad?
Well, we got out onto the bank, but he followed us up and then stood between us and the boat for about an hour. We just couldn't frighten him away.
No, I suppose not. Still, I'm sure he wouldn't have hurt you.
Are you kidding? You should have seen the way he moved. Swans can be really aggressive at nesting times.
Extract 3. You hear part of an interview with Bruce Loader, a successful businessman who's talking about his early life. Now look at questions 5 and 6.
Bruce, at school you discovered you had a natural talent for art.
Yes, I inherited my dad's gift for drawing. I wanted to do representational art, paint portraits. But every college I went to, and there were 3 who accepted me, all the college tutors said, forget representational art, get a single lens reflex 33mm camera, hit the shutter, crash, there's your picture. Not even Rembrandt could get that accuracy, so it's not worth it.
And you believed them?
I did. That was my biggest mistake. I haven't picked up a paintbrush since.
How did your father react when you told him you weren't going to art college?
His face was white with rage. He said, right, that's it. You could have made something of going to college. You won't get another chance. Now I've got a perfectly good job for you on the factory floor. Start this week, take it or leave it. I said, no, I'm going to start a business next. He said, well, at your own expense then.
He refused to support you anymore?
That's it. So... Now you'll hear the recording again.
Bruce, at school you discovered you had a natural talent for art.
Yes, I inherited my dad's gift for drawing. I wanted to do representational art, paint portraits. But every college I went to, and there were 3 who accepted me, all the college tutors said, forget representational art, get a single lens reflex 33mm camera, hit the shutter, crash, there's your picture. Not even Rembrandt could get that accuracy, so it's not worth it.
And you believed them?
I did. That was my biggest mistake. I haven't picked up a paintbrush since.
How did your father react when you told him you weren't going to art college?
His face was white with rage. He said, right, that's it. You could have made something of going to college. You won't get another chance. Now I've got a perfectly good job for you on the factory floor. Start this week, take it or leave it. I said, no, I'm going to start a business next. He said, well, at your own expense then.
He refused to support you anymore?
That's it. And so...
Okay, so that is a good example of part 1. And sorry, where's my picture? Yeah, that's a good example of part 1. Sorry, I apologize for the problem with the sound. More or less, you probably understand the situation, but I hope that you had time to listen to everything. So that is part one. And then if this page is very good, because if you move to the bottom of the page here, they have the solutions. And if you click there, they will give you the solutions and the script. So I have open here the script of the text. Okay, so this is the transcript, and they say this is the Cambridge certificate in advanced English. Then I'm going to give you instructions for the test, and they explain the introduction, and then you have part one. Now open your question paper and look at part one. You'll hear 3 different extracts. Okay, so this is the script. So if we move to extract 1, you can see the script for extract 1, and at the bottom is extract 2. Okay, extract 1, extract 2, and then finally extract 3. Okay, so again, manage this yourself whatever way you want. If you want to take a picture and read the text yourself first, that's fine. I will show you my notes. Okay, so I'm going to open the page here, and here you can see my notes. I have identified the key vocabulary for the transcript. Okay, so the first lady, the interviewer says, so it's like entonces, or well, pues, Fiona, can you tell me about how you started in fashion retailing? Yes, of course. After I finished university, I took a job with a big high street chain. So chain is cadena. Okay, so a chain is cadena, and high street is like alto calle. I don't know in Spanish if you say the same. Like high street is the most important street. In Dublin, we have Grafton Street, O'Connell Street there, Henry Street there, the high street. Okay, with the most important companies and shops. I was an assistant manager. Every week you would see, so that's the conditional, you would see the sales figures, the numbers, the sales figures, okay, just good vocabulary for your product. And then act on, that's a good preposition with the verb to act. Act on your instinct, act on your information by placing repeat orders or putting a new style in. It was a good grounding, very good vocabulary, okay? Ground is like suelo, like the floor, but a good grounding is like a good foundation. So if you start a business, you need a good grounding, a good base, a good foundation of experience, okay? So that's the significance here. It was a good experience for her professionally. However, most of the staff had been there years, and I think I did make mistakes in my dealings, como tratar, managing or communicating with them. I blush now. So this is very good vocabulary. The verb is to blush. Maybe in relation to makeup, you say blusher. It's a type of makeup, maquilla. But the verb to blush specifically, I'm going to find the translator for you here so you know exactly. It's when you go red in the face, yeah, with embarrassment, okay? Sonrojarse. Very, very good vocabulary. And here it's exactly the same. To blush, I blush now. She's embarrassed to think of my time there. I then moved on. So the preposition is moved on. It's just more emphasis. In the future, you continued your career, to continue. Really just emphasis, to continue. And then after 5 years to my present job. And the interviewer, so ER is the person who's asking the questions. Moving up the ladder, a very good expression, to climb the ladder in relation to professional work. How do you see yourself in 10 years' time? I would eventually like to be in senior management. Well, before you rush off, so rush is like prisa in Espanol. Rush off is like, again, to go away, but very, very quickly to see your line manager. I think you need to work out to find a solution, a phrasal verb, to work out to find a solution, skills or talents that you can offer, emphasizing your selling points. So your unique advantages that you have compared to other people. They're your selling points. Showing them what you can do. Also, have you been going the extra mile? A very good expression, to do something extra. What it's not asked for you to do it, but you go the extra mile is to do something extra that's not expected. Okay, to get things done or doing more than what is asked of you recently. So that's extract 1. In extract 2, again, the vocabulary here, a swan is a cisne. Along, taking our boat along is like al lado, very similar to beside, like parallel to the river. A pair of swans is like a pareja, okay, a pair, very important. A nest in Espanol specifically is for the bird where they live, and nido. Very good vocabulary, okay? So with a nest, nearby is good preposition for circa, close, very, very similar, practically the same. So the nido was circa, muy cerca. Carry on is to continue, carry on. And after the phrasal verb carry on, we have the gerundio. Carry on eating, carry on going, carry on drinking. And feed is alimentar. So carry on feeding, okay? Close up is, again, very similar, just to circa, to ver, see, the nido, very, very close up, okay? So in a short distance, very close to the nest, to the nido. Hungry, so the difference in pronunciation between hungry and angry. Angry is enfadado, I think, but hungry is hambre. So there's a very important difference between hungry, hambre, and angry, when you're not happy, okay? Actually is like the echo, in fact. Flapping is his wings. So wings are alas, and flapping are like moving. This action to flap your wings. Not very comfortable, maybe panic. You flap when you panic, okay? So flapping your wings is like moving your wings. And approaching at incredible speed. So moving hacia, moving towards, is approaching, okay? Adivinar, I guess. Demasiado, circa, too close. Gosh is like madre mia. Behaving, comportamiento, to behave, typical with children, okay? So here's the gerundio. Row like mad, okay? So the verb is to row, and it's related to sport. For the children, they say row, row, row your boat. Remar, I think in Espanol it's remar. But be careful, the second meaning is a row, is like an argument or a fight. So there are two significances for row, just the pronunciation is different. So to row is remar, but a row is an argument or a fight, okay? And in the cinema, you have a row in the cinema. So there's three meanings of that word. Remar, to row. A row, an argument or a fight, or a row in the cinema, like a linea, a line. Okay. Row like crazy, like move very, very fast. Frighten is asustar, the verbo, to frighten him away. En, the suffix. The substantivo is a fright. So a fright is the substantive, and the verb is to frighten. So just very good vocabulary to remember. And kidding, are you joking? Are you kidding? So he did not believe she was very, very serious, or the situation was serious. I think that was a clue to the answer. Okay, so part 3, extract 3. Inherit is the verb. To inherit money from the parents, for example. To inherit is to receive something, usually when the person dies, okay? And gift is like talent or skill. Regalo también, a present or a gift. Lens is the type of technology or the type of material on a camera. Lente, okay, very similar. So it's the material for the camera. Hit the shutter. So the verb to shut is like cerrar, and in the camera, the shutter is the cover of the lens, okay? So the cover of the lens is the shutter. In the shop, you have the shutter, and it's the cover for the shop when it's closed, okay? So hit the shutter, crash. So it's just dramatic vocabulary. It's not worth it, no vale la pena. Pick up is just emphasis really with the preposition up. So she pick up a paintbrush. Yes, you can pick up the children after school, like recoger, to collect. But in this situation, it's just to pick, physically to pick up a paintbrush. White with rage is good expression. Blanco con rabia. So very, very angry. It's not typical, but that's the translation. To make something of yourself is an expression. Make something of yourself is to be very good, or to be to do something positive with your career, or to do something positive with your life, I suppose. Factory floor, so the factory and the floor, just a good combination, and the preposition on the factory floor. Take it or leave it, a very famous expression. So if somebody gives you an offer, you take the offer or you leave it. You've no negotiation. It's just very clear, black and white. Take it or leave it. Okay, so there are the 3 extracts. And if we look at the questions again, just to remember, and probably you have tried the answers yourself, and I will give you the official answers here that they have. Hopefully I have it in this. Okay, so part 1B is for number 1, part 1B, part 2A, part 3C, part 4C, sorry, number 5C, and number 6B. So usually the listening are very tricky because, for example, option A, B, and C are mentioned in the majority of extracts, but it's the detail and specifically the question that you need to pay attention to the detail of the question. So you really need to understand clearly each question and focus your answer on the words of the question, because sometimes each extract explain option A, they include things from option A, option B, and option C, but you have to connect specifically to the question. So you have to be very, very careful and understand very clearly the question from the extracts. Okay, that's really my advice. And each word, yes, sometimes words like, for example, give up, little words are very important for the significance. Also, it's not necessary to understand everything. You're not expected to understand everything in the audio. Your job is to identify the answer. Okay, so don't worry if you have problems understanding everything. Your principal job, your main job is to find the answer. Okay, this is just material to show you and the script to help you with studying. Sorry, yeah, that's material just to help you with the studying, but that is part 1, and take your time to review everything and to revise part 1, and hopefully in the next few days or the next week I can continue with part 2. I can give you advice for vocabulary, and then we can continue to part 3 and part 4. So that's the use of English last week, the listening we started today, and then don't forget the reading and the writing as well for the exam. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, put the question in the comment at the video, and stay in contact with YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, even Twitter, and I will try to produce more material, and LinkedIn also. Okay, thank you so much and have a nice day, and talk to you soon. Bye.